I never made an intro because I didn't think I would make this as one video. I was gonna put it in a vlog time, but I saw X-Men Dark Phoenix and it's the worst X-Men movie I saw. It's the first time I went to the theaters and a movie triggered me so much. So here is my video about Dark Phoenix. Waiting for Dark Phoenix.
This is gonna be fantastic.
So it is on pace to be the worst Marvel film ever.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Waiting for the memes,
Bring it. Bring the X-Women.
X-Woman. And also I was supposed to work on that movie.
Oh boy.
And I said no. And everyone that I've met that worked on Dark Phoenix told me, thank God you didn't take the job.
Like absolutely terrible. terrible conditions.
The senior NDA.
Yeah.
Oh. Uh-oh.
The movie's out though. Who cares?
Yeah, the movie's out, but I didn't work on it, so I can say what the fuck I want. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. We just got out of Dark Phoenix. Holy fuck. That was bad. That was so fucking bad. Thank God I didn't work on that movie. I would be embarrassed. Literally, no spoiler alert. The end doesn't even follow the other X-Men movies from the past. Nothing at all.
Fucked everything up, man.
It's stupid. Oh my God, c'est mauvais. Jennifer Lawrence opened her mouth for the first time in the movie. I knew it was gonna suck. Only women save men.
You might as well call
Shut up.
X-forced diversity.
Uka Magneto fucking floats for the first time in the air. Tabarnak. I laughed so much that I cried.
Ça c'était magnifique.
Oh my God.
That was beautiful.
Oh my God, c'était
Or when everybody just ran like Get Out, like the gardener from Get Out.
Oh my God, all of the Skrull people running like,
dude,
in the movie Get Out.
Skrulls. They're like unnamed aliens, but they're Skrulls. But they can't say Skrulls because they don't have the rights to Skrulls.
Ah, c'est vrai. God, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad. I have to talk about X-Men Dark Phoenix. So I went to see it with my friend Max at the theaters, and I have never been this upset, mad, and triggered at a movie before, especially a Marvel film. Just right off the bat, I think X-Men Dark Phoenix is an insult to Marvel, the entire franchise, and the fans. It's really a bad movie, and I just cannot believe how bad it was. I looked at the critics before watching this movie, and I thought to myself, maybe they're exaggerating, maybe it's not that bad, maybe it's a little good, maybe it's just a normal, decent movie. But they were right. It was so bad. I don't recommend you to watch this movie because it's that bad. But really, I'm disappointed with what they did with some of the characters. Charles Xavier is shown as an asshole, an idiot, like really the bad guy, and it's all of his fault. And in the entire X-Men franchise, Charles Xavier was never, ever shown like this. He was never like this bad character, asshole. Like, this was really disappointing to see that the writers decided to make Charles Xavier an idiot, which he's not. And it, like, you watch all of the X-Men movies, you read the comic books, anything with X-Men, Charles Xavier is not seen as an asshole like in Dark Phoenix. That was really disappointing, and it got me mad after watching the movie when I realized it. And also Jennifer Lawrence, thank God Mystic died in this movie. And my friend Max says, oh, she's still alive in The Last Stand, but in Days of the Future Past, Wolverine went to the past and changed it, so Last Stand doesn't exist anymore in this universe. So I can kind of know why she died in Dark Phoenix, but why would you show Mystic dying in the trailer, her funerals, and seeing Sophie Turner's character Jean Grey cry, saying, oh, I didn't want to kill her, I didn't want to kill her. It's like a big thing in the movie and you decided to show it in your trailer. Why? Why are you doing this? But also Jennifer Lawrence, why I hated her in this movie is she talks with Charles Xavier and then she fucking says, it's always the woman that have to save the men around here. You should change the name to X-Woman. Like, this was the worst line ever that I have saw in a fucking movie. The woman always save the man around here. You should change the name to X-Woman. This is pure cringe. SJW bullshit. I fucking cringe. I was so pissed when she said this. And they were okay with saying that. And I'm sure Jennifer Lawrence had a little to do with this dialogue. Like when she said this. I'm sure she had something to do with it. And she was really happy to say it. Because yes, I support women's rights, equal rights for everyone. But I just don't like it when you push it that hard and that obvious into a movie, like saying that. It's just cringy. Some characters are so useless in this movie. Quicksilver is useless, Cyclops is useless. Like, they don't serve anything in the movie. They don't serve anything in the movie. And to be honest, the first time I saw Magneto fly in the air or float in the air for the first time in Dark Phoenix, I laughed. I laughed so much that I fucking cried. I cried because that was so funny. The CGI was so bad. Not all of it was awful, but that part was so fucking bad. And the makeup was a little bit disappointing. Mystic's makeup was not really good because it's like they said, oh, it's Jennifer Lawrence. You have to show, put less makeup on her to show that it's her. We know it's Jennifer Lawrence. Don't need to put less makeup so that the people could know it's her. But also Sophie Turner's performance was okay. Some people hated it. But I really hate that the movie is just cry, kill, and die. Talking about dying, Jean Grey, I don't know if Jean Grey dies in this movie or not. It's confusing. I thought she was dead at first, then one of my other friends that saw the movie told me she is not dead. And I'm gonna explain later, and it confuses me. And the movie is always a frenemy with Charles Xavier and Magneto. It's always like that. And I just hate that they just didn't really care. The team that worked on this movie didn't really care about the entire franchise, that they decided to just make their own X-Men movie and not care about the history, the other movies that were made. Like, they just didn't care. And I have not watched X-Men Apocalypse, so I don't know what happened before this one, but people told me it was built up to Dark Phoenix, but things that were built up for Dark Phoenix in Apocalypse was never mentioned in this movie. Some of the fight scenes were good, some just bad, and just the villain in this movie, so horrible. It's just a Skrull. You can't call it a Skrull because they were not with Disney when they made this movie. She just transforms into a girl that you see out of nowhere in the beginning of the movie at a party, and there's nothing developed around the villain, and the villain just wants to destroy the world for no reason. We don't know why they want to destroy the world. It is never mentioned, and they are using Jean Grey as power that she absorbed in space while saving those astronauts to destroy the world. But the villain is just horrible. There's no meaning behind what they want to do, and it was so bad. You see the Skrull running around like it's in Get Out like this, and the main villain, Vuk or whatever, runs with her arms like this. Like, why are they running like fucking morons? I don't know who had the idea to make them run like this, but yeah, Dark Phoenix, just a fucking mess. And talking about Jean Grey sacrifices herself to save the world, and she I don't know if she's dead or not, but you see that they changed the name of the X-Men, the mutant school, to Jean Grey School, like she's dead. And Charles Xavier is no longer the owner or head or the boss of the school. It's now the Beast. Beast is like the big boss, and Charles Xavier is playing with checkers with Magneto, and it's not like that. And yes, Wolverine in Days of the Future Past, changing the future might make this impact, but I just don't really understand, because in Days of the Future Past, when he changes the future, Jean Grey comes back to life. She comes back to life at the end of Days of the Future Past because they changed the future. And now Jean Grey dies, and they change the name of the school to her name, so you don't know if she's dead or not, because at the end of the movie you see her energy, the Phoenix, in the air. And one of my friends that saw the movie says that she's not dead because her energy, she's still in the Phoenix. She is the Phoenix. But it might just be the energy that it might be the energy from the Phoenix that she had in the air. So if Jean Grey is dead in Dark Phoenix, it is really an insult to the Marvel fan base and the franchise, because Jean Grey comes back to life in Days of the Future Past, and now you're just going to kill her in that movie, when in the entire franchise, in the future, Jean Grey comes back to life. Like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Does not make sense. And also, Charles Xavier no longer working at the mutant school. I don't think it's like that. Maybe it has to do with Days of the Future Past, but it's mainly Jean Grey's death or her as the Phoenix at the end of the movie that really made me mad, because they just didn't care about the previous movie, because Jean Grey comes back to life in Days of the Future Past at the end of that movie, and they decide to kill her at the young age in the 90s. Like, what what? I don't understand at all what they were thinking. And I just really hate that movie. I'm disappointed. It's like they didn't care about the previous movies that were made. And yeah, that's what I have to say about Dark Phoenix. I also forgot to mention that Magneto in Dark Phoenix is supposed to be 62 years old. He doesn't look at all this age. I'm gonna put a picture on the screen of Magneto in the X-Men movies from the 60s, 70s, 90s, and 2000. That just proves that the entire production team, the writers, didn't give a fuck about the previous films. And Magneto does not look 62 years old in that movie. And it doesn't really look like it's in 1992. The only thing that shows it's in 1992 is the old television, and that's all. So yeah, that's the thing I forgot to mention in this video. Now let's get back to it. Also, Dark Phoenix was filmed in Montreal. Like, I recognized some places from the movie Parc La Fontaine. I thought they filmed there. Some studios that I recognize. But at the end of the movie, they say that they're in France, in Paris. But it is the old port in Montreal. The last scene, the camera goes in the air and you see the entire place at the old port, and it's fucking stupid because it's such an iconic place, the old port in Montreal. There's this cylinder, there's like this building that goes like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's something you recognize when you go to Montreal one time. If you've been to Montreal one time and you've been to the old port, you know what I'm talking about. It's like the top of the building is like a cylinder. It's like round a bit, and there's a spike at the top of the building. Like, it is, I'll probably put a picture on the screen of what I'm talking about. But you see that, and then there's the fucking CGI Eiffel Tower in the background. And it's just stupid. Montreal and Paris together, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, we know it's in Montreal, and they just put the fucking Eiffel Tower in the background. And it was filmed in Montreal, and I can say these things because I have not worked in the movie. I was asked to work on Dark Phoenix when they did 3 months of reshoots. Yes, I wonder why they had to do 3 months of reshoot. I was asked to work in Dark Phoenix, and I declined the offer because they didn't say it was for X-Men Dark Phoenix, first of all, so I had no idea it was this movie. But I have declined because I had other contracts for other productions that I was working on at the same time, different productions, and also I had plans like outside of I had plans outside of my job, but mainly I was already working on other productions while they asked me to work in Dark Phoenix. So I declined, and thank God I didn't work on it. Imagine if I worked on that movie and I promoted it like I did with The Bold Type or Murder Mystery, which is coming out soon. Imagine I would promote Dark Phoenix that much on my YouTube channel, on my social medias, and then see the end result. I would have been so embarrassed to have promoted this movie and work on it. So yeah, I didn't work on Dark Phoenix, not because I knew it was gonna be trash, because I didn't know it was that movie. And some people that I've talked to, or some people that worked on Dark Phoenix that I know, have told me, thank God you didn't work on that movie because it was something it was truly a disaster. So I feel bad for all of the people that worked in the movie if it was that bad, that much of a disaster. But yeah, Dark Phoenix, for me, it's a 0 out of 10. It's the first time that a movie, just a movie, triggered me so much. It triggered me so much. So I'm gonna end this video right here. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on my social media that will be in the description down below, and you can turn on the bell for notifications when I post. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.